Hey you guys. This is the first part to this series, and all of the second years are freshmen in college and the third years are sophomores in college, so on and so forth. But I hope you guys enjoy this series because this is the first part. I'm writing the second part as we speak. And I feel like I hope it comes together a little more, Hopefully you guys like the second part a little more than you like this one. Um, I don't know. I'm excited to watch their relationship develop a little bit more. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna try to include a little more Osasuna. Because I know y'all want like a SakuAtsu and an Osasuna type series. But I never know how to really incorporate two ships into one. But I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, get out of my face.
In which SakuAtsu unexpectedly meets his roommate's twin brother and immediately decides he hates him. SakuAtsu hated this already. The weight of his duffel bag dug into his shoulder as he walked down the dorm hallway, the overhead fluorescent lights flickering slightly with each step like they, too, were annoyed to be here. His rolling suitcase trailed behind him with a rhythmic clattering grating on his nerves. He had tried to mentally prepare himself seriously. He'd known for months this was part of the deal, his parents making him live the college life too, embrace his independence. Thinking about sharing a kitchen, the communal bathrooms and having to converse with other people made SakuAtsu grimace. He didn't even want to finish the thought. At least by some stroke of luck or fate or whatever force pitted him, his roommate didn't seem like a total disaster. Osamu Miya was tolerable, surprisingly so. SakuAtsu had met him briefly during orientation, and instead of being loud or invasive or chatty like SakuAtsu had feared, Osamu had been laid back with a kind of deadpan dry sense of humor. They'd had a full conversation where neither of them tried to overshare or dig too deep. Osamu had even gotten a short laugh out of him, though SakuAtsu would deny it under oath. They had a mutual agreement: no unnecessary drama, no forced friendship, no mess. Now as SakuAtsu finally reached the dorm room door, he dug the key out of his track pants pocket. His fingers were starting to ache from carrying too much. He unlocked the door with a small click, pushed it open with his shoulder, and let out a soft exhale the moment he stepped inside. He dropped his bags onto the floor, the sound dull against the thin dorm carpet. He moved toward his bed, set against the window side, and plopped down on it with a quiet tired huff. He was just about to take in the room: white walls, bunk beds, study desks. Osamu's side was already visibly claimed with folded clothes and some bags, when movement caught his eye. And then he froze. There, standing in front of the small mini fridge Osamu had brought, was someone who very much wasn't Osamu, but a boy. A shirtless boy nonetheless. He was blonde, tanned with broad shoulders tapering down to a ridiculously toned waist. He was hunched over the open fridge, a soda in one hand, a full bento in the other, and a custard bun in his mouth. SakuAtsu blinked. Then blinked again. The completely unbothered guy turned his head toward him, still chewing around the half-eaten bun, and met SakuAtsu's wide-eyed stare with a grin. Mumbled noise. He mumbled, then casually closed the fridge with a bump of his hip, set the soda and bento on top of it like this was his room, and shoved the entire bun in his mouth. "Hey," he said with his mouth full, chewing sloppily. "Didn't expect you to come so soon." SakuAtsu's entire face scrunched instinctively, like he'd just smelled weak old milk. "What the hell?" he muttered under his breath. His eyes darted from the fridge to the food to the gremlin still standing half naked in front of him. And damn, he was built with abs and all, clearly athletic. But that wasn't the point. SakuAtsu started, trying to form words that weren't just "why are you in here" and "who are you" and "put a shirt on please." Before he could say anything else, the door creaked open again behind him. "Atsumu, you better not be going through my shit again," Osamu's voice called out. The minute he stepped inside, his eyes went straight to SakuAtsu. "Oh, what's up?" he said, nodding in greeting. "I didn't expect you to be here so soon." Then he caught the unmistakable crease between his brows. Then following SakuAtsu's stare, he sighed. "Oh my gosh Tsumu. Sakusa turned back just in time to see the blonde roll his eyes dramatically, seemingly trying to get the remains of the bun out of his teeth with his tongue. I'm sorry if he disturbed you, Sakusa-san. Sakusa gave a tight, almost pitying smile. It's fine. I don't disturb nobody. Shut up. The blonde replied instantly, mouth finally empty, tone indignant. I didn't know you had a brother, he said, directing the comment to Osamu while pulling his duffel bag up onto the bed, looking for something to do with his hands. He's not worth mentioning, Osamu said dryly, sitting down on his bed with a sigh. Atsumu made a move to hit him, hand raised like an annoyed sibling might slap the back of your head at the dinner table, but Osamu, without even looking, leaned just out of range like he predicted it. Anyway, Osamu said, tone flat as ever. This is my twin brother, Atsumu. Nice to meet ya. Atsumu said casually, like this was a perfectly normal way to meet someone. Sakusa eyed him warily. Shouldn't you be in your own dorm? He asked slowly. Atsumu barked out a laugh, already turning back toward the mini fridge to collect the soda and bento he'd abandoned. I'm not in college, he said with a shrug. It's for losers. And with that, he walked out the door like he owned the place, food in hand with his slides slapping on the floor. The silence he left behind was heavy and slightly surreal. Sakusa stared at the door, then slowly turned his gaze to Osamu. I hate him, he said flatly. Osamu sighed, lying back on his bed, one arm tossed across his eyes. Me too. The next few days were the equivalent of hell. He had come to college expecting academic stress, less sleep. But what he hadn't expected was for Atsumu Miya to treat the dorm like it was his personal bachelor pad. Which was even crazier because he didn't even live there, and yet for some inexplicable reason, the blonde kept showing up. Morning, afternoon, evening, when Sakusa was clearly trying to wind down and reclaim a sliver of peace. It was like the guy had no job, no responsibilities, and a divine mission to crawl under Sakusa's skin and stay there. He was loud, he was nosy, and all he did was spin in Osamu's desk chair like a bored child. He ate all of Osamu's foods, sometimes while making direct eye contact with Sakusa like it was a power move. But the worst part of it, is that he always spoke to Sakusa. All the time, and unfortunately today was no different. Sakusa sat hunched over his desk, highlighter uncapped, his notes spread neatly across the surface. His laptop glowed softly beside him. He had a quiz coming up and it was taking every last ounce of mental energy he had to actually retain any information he highlighted. Behind him Atsumu was spinning slowly on Osamu's chair, one socked foot dragging along the floor every half turn. Yeah, gonna break that, Osamu said flatly, scrolling through something on his phone from where he lay across his bed. I ain't even going fast, Atsumu replied, arms loosely crossed, head tilted back like he was contemplating the ceiling tiles. Sakusa tuned them out. He underlined the word variance twice in his black pen, reaching for his water bottle. He had barely taken a sip when the chair squeaked to a sudden stop. There were footsteps, then, too close, Atsumu's voice right beside his ear. Whatcha doin'? He asked, dragging out the last word in a sing-song tone. Sakusa closed his eyes, counted to 2, then slowly turned his head. His expression was unimpressed, to say the least. Is it not obvious enough for you? He said in a dry tone. Maybe you should enroll in a college. Atsumu laughed, like Sakusa had just told the funniest joke in the world. His whole face lit up with it, dimples deepening, teeth obnoxiously perfect. His grin was practically a weapon. Oh my gosh, Atsumu said, still chuckling. That was rude. I just wanted to know what you were studying, you know, in case you needed any help. Sakusa exhaled through his nose. Statistics, he muttered, turning slightly back to his notes hoping the conversation was over. It wasn't. Atsumu said, perking up. I took that in high school, I was gross at it back in the day. Back in the day? You mean like a year ago? Sakusa wasn't sure what irritated him more, the obvious flex, or the fact that Atsumu said it as if he was an elder. Then Atsumu leaned in closer. Let me see. And before Sakusa could protest, he was right there, bent at the waist, one hand bracing on the desk beside Sakusa's, shoulder brushing his warm breath ghosting against Sakusa's cheek as he peered at the open notebook. All right, So you're looking at standard deviation, He opened his mouth to continue speaking. Atsumu was talking, Sakusa knew that much, but the words slipped past him, muffled and distant. He didn't respond. Because he couldn't. Because Atsumu was right there. His mind, already half-fried from studying, short-circuited further under the weight of new, unexpected distractions. The way Atsumu's voice dipped when he explained things, the faint smell of his cologne, something clean. The perfect shape of his eyebrows, the curve of his nose, just a little hooked at the bridge, aquiline almost. His lashes were darker than his hair. His eyes slightly hooded, and focused. His bottom lip was caught between his teeth in a soft frown, like he was actually trying to understand the material. Sakusa's eyes shot down to his notebook again, trying to focus. But, he's only human. He flicked his eyes back up to the curve of Atsumu's jaw, down to the way his bicep flexed slightly where he leaned against the desk. Get a grip, Sakusa told himself. And then, because the universe was cruel, as soon as he looked back up to Atsumu, he looked right at him, their eyes locked. And there it was, that unmistakable sparkle behind Atsumu's lashes. That slight crinkle at the corners of his eyes. That smile. He knows I was staring. Sakusa looked away so fast his neck nearly popped. Atsumu was already pushing up from the desk, still grinning. Well, I hoped that helped. He said before casually walking away, like nothing had happened. He called out over his shoulder. I'll be back in like 2 weeks, Samu. I'll see you later. Osamu called back from his bed, only half listening. Then he turned toward Sakusa, smirking. I'll see you later too, Sakusa. He added, clearly enjoying the attention a little too much. Atsumu winked, then disappeared through the door. The silence that followed was deafening. Sakusa stared at the now closed door, squinted, frowned, then muttered under his breath. I hate him. But this time he wasn't sure if he believed it. How to make Sakusa mad 101 GC. Haikyuu. I miss you. How was your roommate? OMG yes please. I already told you, I've spoken to him before. I enjoy his silent company. What a Sakusa thing to say. But like. What specifically? He's funny I guess. Astounding review. The fuck do you want me to say? Oh wait. Yes. You sound like Beetlejuice. He has a twin. What's his name? My roommate's name is Osamu and his twin's name is Atsumu. Okuk. Wait, what about his twin? He's so annoying, all he does is lounge around like don't you have a job? And he's always all up in my space looking at me with those seductive ass eyes like he knows something I don't. Wait guys, why are we jifing? I wanna know too. What does he look like? Why does it matter? Oh, it matters. He's blonde with brown eyes. That explains a lot. Do you think he's cute? No, I hate him. Oh, you meant that hate her? Yes. I'm still confused. I think Kyumi has a crush. The fuck? Well, you think wrong cause he's crazy annoying. Stop with the fucking SpongeBob memes. It's okay to admit the truth, Kyumi. Don't call me that. But Bakuto called you that. That's Bakuto. Flattered Bakuto. Yuan far. Imeg he actually hates him guys, I don't know. Trust me Iwazumi. Knowing this one's history he doesn't. My history? What are you talking about? You know what? I don't care. Abbreviation king over here. Kyoru kill Yorsula OMG. Lumfu. Yes. I don't like him, not even a little bit. Not even for a second, not even at all. Is how he meant to finish it. OMG. I'm actually crying. I don't like him. Same vibe. Not funny, bye, I'm leaving.